for a specific period of time. It could be annually or monthly. Yeah. And the primary purpose of a budget is to help you manage your money effectively. Yeah, I liked it when you just mentioned in your preamble that when you hear about the budget, you think about money, resources. Yeah, money is it's a resource that needs to be allocated for a specific period of time effectively. Now, you must also ensure that your expenses do not exceed your income. Yeah, that's the primary purpose of a budget. And this budget is, I can call it a valuable tool for achieving financial stability. Okay, and then it is also used for managing debt and reaching your long-term financial objectives. And history tells us that in the past, we saw the ancient civilizations like Egypt or Mesopotamia, where they were keeping records, okay, of agricultural production, right? Yes, as well as expenditures, taxes. They were keeping those records. They are very, very, consistent. Okay. Yes. Yeah. In case of no, it used to form as a budgeting foundation, mainly focused on resource allocation. Okay. Yes. And then now we are in the 21st century where we've seen technological advancements. Okay. Yeah. They have really revolutionized how we budget. We've seen spreadsheets, softwares, specialized budgeting. Okay. And then these have become an essential part of personal finance. Nowadays, you can just log into your laptop or your phone and you go to an app. It tells you everything. So the world is clean. Remember, they say that Ichalobadi Wakina. Yes. You don't need to hustle. And then you may be wondering, national budgets and personal budgets. These two are really intertwined in a complex relationship. National, economic policies, taxation, and government programs directly affect our individual finances. When you see the Minister of Finance announcing the national budget, just know that that is affecting your individual finances because there is taxation there is government policy there, and there are also government programs. Yes. Simultaneously, the collective financial decisions as well as the behaviors of individuals in terms of the national, rather influence the national economy, how we manage our finances as well, how we make decisions. That also influences the national budget. We've seen stakeholder engagements before the budget is announced, the government trying to engage everyone because they know that the Zambians, the individuals, are really key stakeholders when it comes to the national budget. And by extension, the national budget itself, really influences on how we make financial decisions. Exactly.
Well, it influences on how we make decisions. So budget, obviously, like you say, it's a frame or a plan that government put across. Like we will talk about the 2024 national budget. I know we have a lot on the other side, but when we talk about the 2024 national budget itself, it's supposed to say that there is no money, but the budget is put across.
Yes, of course. I love that thinking, Moses. Remember, like I said in my preamble, the budget is your foundation of the financial destiny. Yes. Meaning that it anchors all the plans that you have, all your goals, as well as your risk tolerance on there. Now, on the aspect of the budget is not just about expenses. And this is the notion that I want us listeners, to really alleviate and get rid of. Yes. A budget is not only about our expenses, it's about income. Yes. So there is income somewhere. In the case of the government, where does revenue come from? It comes from taxes. So it also comes from grants as well as loans. So there is income there, and then now you are planning on how you're going to allocate the resources through various sectors to achieve a certain objective. Okay, and I'm also happy to learn that from the pronouncements that were made, the budget looks growth centric. Yes, but remember there is also execution part.
Yes.
Yes, are we going to execute it? If well executed, then we should be heading in the right direction as a country. So there is an income aspect. So the money comes from your taxes.
Wow.
And grants.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're just joining in, welcome aboard. Investment at Money 193.7, many of them. Getting to be an up course, especially where Facebook is present. Central Money FM Zambia, do like the page to be part in conversation. As well, you drop in your message, we'll be able to at least read it out, of course, have a conversation with you on the social media. That's, of course, Facebook. And right on 93.7, Money FM, you can do the same. And we obviously give you 077 That's obviously the line that you can drop in the message, and we'll be more than glad to hear from you, especially when we talk about investment at mandate. So, an interesting conversation that we have budgeting, obviously in challenging times. As I'm in conversation with Mr. Jones Sambaumbe, he is an investment at money resident, of course, consultant, and he is a financial advisor. So all related in and of course getting the best that we're supposed to, especially when we talk about investment at money on 93.7 Money FM. So let's delve into it. Of course, let's see what policies all packed on today, Mr. Sambambe. I know you're eager to give us the breakdown of what we're going down. What is the next step that we take? What should we know? What should we have as at the moment? Since you have given the background of the budget and touching on to the national budget 2024, what is more of expectation of what we have from today to digest?
Great stuff. So after listening to the national budget, about 188 billion, then you should also take a notepad and a pen. Write your personal budget, your individual budget, okay? Which will write on the national budget. Because there's an intertwined relationship, the direction where government is going and the direction where you are going. Remember, you are the star of your own movie.
Yes.
As government head somewhere, they provide policy. You also have a role to play in ensuring that you actually achieve your financial goals. So there's a template that you need to follow for the budget. You ensure that, there are so many templates, but at least there's a general guideline. You must ensure that your template has got income in it. This income may stem from your salary, okay? It may stem from your rental income and other sources of income. It may stem from your business profits as income right there. And then you must also ensure that you've got a part for fixed expenses. Fixed expenses, these are expenses that are not changing over time, okay? Like rent, okay? Then you include the loan repayments as well as insurance premiums. Okay, those are fixed.
Yes.
Then from fixed expenses, you move on to variable expenses. These are changing expenses, like your transportation.
Yes.
Like the money that you spend on alcohol, entertainment, that varies. It's a variable expense. You must ensure that you budget it. Just on the variable expenses, Moses, I had a friend of mine some 2 years ago. Whenever we are taking alcohol in a beer hall, we are laughing at him. He was keeping receipts.
Okay.
We are like, this man, how do you keep receipts in a beer hall? No, I was like, I know what I'm doing. I am really accounting for my money. So we couldn't understand. Those are the days in our early, employment days. We couldn't understand. But after learning that, up to now, I learned that the purpose why that man was doing that is for the sake of accountability and knowing where his money is going. Those are variable expenses. And then under the same template, you must ensure that you have your savings and investments. What's your strategy on savings? What's your strategy on investments? That must fall under your budget. From there, you move on to ensure that you've got a component of debt repayment. Debt repayment must be accounted for. It's an obligation. Sometimes we tend to forget that after all, it's just a 100 kwacha. We'll send it via Airtel Money. List it down as debt. It will really help you to know where the funds, where your money, your hard-earned cash is going. You have your total expenses there. Then when you subtract your total expenses from your income, you have either a deficit, which is a negative number there, meaning that your expenses are more than your income. Then when you have a surplus, it means that your income is more than your expenses. You are living within your means. So now the surplus doesn't mean that you've got money that you can waste.
Yes.
That money can be used to finance your other financial goals. Okay? Template, it's so critical. And then I know there is a listener out there or a viewer itching to ask that why is budgeting so crucial in challenging times?
Yes.
Okay. Because in challenging times, and what I'm talking about today, Moses, what I'm sharing with the audiences, challenging when we are seeing geopolitical tensions, okay, when we are seeing the fuel prices rising, okay, it's all chaos in terms of economic. All right. Now, budgeting helps you and I to take control of our finances by tracking our income and expenses in challenging times like this one. Okay, it is a tool that allows us prioritize our spending. What are we spending our money on? Prioritize our necessities, our savings, while managing the limited resources. During economic downturn, we have resources which are limited. Therefore, they must be managed properly. In paper, yes. Now, the other vital aspect, the other important aspect of this budget, because it will give you a signal, it will give you a direction of how you are spending your hard-earned cash and where you can prioritize. Okay, where you need to cut back. If you are running on a deficit budget, there is need to cut back, especially on your expenses. Money must be somewhere. Don't just complain to say that, no, since the cost of living is rising every moment, then there is nothing that I can do. You are now being rigid. You are not being flexible.
Especially as we align ourselves with the 2024 national budget. Coming in right on 93.7 Money FM, in conversation with Mr. John Sambaumbe, the financial advisor, resident, of course, consultant for investment at Money on 93.7. So you get ready to be part of the conversation as you carry yourself in relation with what we have, especially when we talk about the conversation around budgeting in, of course, challenging times like these ones. So it is you, could be around your business, could be around your personal finances, could be relating in and carrying into economic terms themselves, then to be part of the conversation on 93.7. One of the interests is you get to be part in conversation as well right on the Facebook page. Check out from FM Zambia, do like the page, and of course be part in conversation via Facebook. Of course, drop in your message. We'll be more than glad to hear from you. So, how is obviously everything and how you're coping up, especially when we talk about budgeting in challenging times? Now, nice breakdown, and of course, the emphasis around challenging times itself, Mr. Sambaunde. I'm thinking and trying to connect in. Challenging times are challenging times. Sometimes I'll say, okay, these are challenging times, and I still need to copy out. But the last part that you touched on, very interesting, and of course, has in especially where personal finances and business is concerned. What else should we understand? What is more prominent, especially when we talk about budgeting around challenging times, Mr. Samuel?
Exactly. They say that if you want to add value, focus on owning yourself. Wow. Yeah. Similar to the budget. If you want to execute your budget well, you must focus on owning your budget.
Yes.
Life is not is not comfort centric, but it's growth centric. The budget that you did a few years ago, you notice that actually the income keeps growing and the expenses keeps growing. There's a growth aspect of it in the budget.
Yes.
Now, you may be wondering that where do you start from? There's another part in the budget.
Yeah.
Another aspect rather. You are starting from the scratch. How do you start doing this budget?
Yes.
Budget is not for the elite. Anyone can do it, whether in business, whether you are an employee, yeah, whether you are a housekeeper, you can still do a budget. Budgeting helps, in terms of tracking expenses as well as income. Like I said, the first step that you need to take is set your clear financial goals.
Okay.
Okay, are you working towards to achieve? Is it building an emergency fund? Is it saving for retirement? Is it saving for a vacation? Once you set your clear financial targets, and then you must list all the income sources. Where are you going to get the income from for you to allocate to various expenses? There must be income component, like what I said about the government.
Yeah.
Getting from grants and taxes, as well as other sources. Like in the individual capacity, you can either get it from a salary, rental income, business, or other income alternatives. Once you list your incomes, now you must also bear in mind that you are able to differentiate between needs and wants.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of wisdom when it comes to budgeting, Moses. This has served me for so many years, whereby I think twice. Where I'm spending my money, is it a necessity? Is it an essential, a need, something that you can never live without? Yes. Accommodation. Okay, I'm talking about water, utilities. It's a need. Insurance is also a need, Moses. You can't overlook it.
Yeah.
You now think about essentials, non-essentials, discretionary spending, those ones. Do I really need a TV? Do I need to go for that vacation? Do I need to go and take that champagne or whiskey? You think twice. As long as you're able to differentiate between a want and a need, it will really take you very far when it comes to budgeting. Yeah. This clear breakdown forms the foundation. Another financial document that you need to look at is a payslip. Gather a payslip if you're in employment. Put them together. Yes. If you're in business, get the financial statements. I'm sure you should have an account somewhere, even your Airtel money, where you receive your money, your Airtel money account. Look at the income that you're receiving on a monthly basis, where it's coming from. I know some of us shy, actually, away to look at our mobile money accounts because you really fail to account where your 100 kwachas or 50 kwachas are going to. But if you add those monies together, they are so significant. Yes. It is so critical that you also track your expenses for the month. It's either you're budgeting monthly or you're budgeting annually. Fixed expenses, rent, utilities, okay, variable expenses, groceries, transport. Keep receipts, like that friend of mine who used to keep receipts for alcohol. He knew what he was doing. I met him. He's doing so well. With his financial habits. They're very saved, and we always laugh about it. Now, you also need to categorize your expenses. It's very, very cardinal because it will really make it easier for you to analyze and manage your budget. Your expenses in terms of housing, transportation, utilities, healthcare, entertainment, saving, or debt management. Yes. In that fashion. Then there are some mistakes that are so common when it comes to budgeting that we overlook others. Underestimating expenses. You are doing your expenses. You've got a budget for painting. You estimate a price of 5,000 kwacha as your expense for painting. And then you only discover that, actually, you've spent 7,000. That really disturbs your budget.
Yes.
And then the other aspect that we overlook as well is the irregular expenses. We tend to focus so much on the monthly expenses, forgetting that we pay insurance quarterly. Take into account insurance, even if it's not monthly, but it is an quarterly expense item. Think about annual subscriptions. You've forgotten about the annual subscriptions. All of a sudden, boom, they send you a notification that Mr. Moses, your annual subscription is due. Please make efforts to pay before this deadline. And then you are like, ah, no, it's not in my budget. How? You are thinking that the only expenses that you are aware of are monthly expenses. No, 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 no. There are quarterly expenses. There are also annual expenses like subscription. Now, there is also an aspect of, I mean, other expenses like frequenting, doing the coffee run-ups every day. You think that, after a coffee, just about 35 kwacha or 50 kwacha, it's not much. When you add up those expenses, hey, discover that you've spent 1,000 kwacha on coffee. That is really chewing into your income and disturbing your budget. And then in the end, it becomes a rough road to really achieve your financial goals. Remember, life is also unpredictable. Yeah. Sometimes we go through things that we don't plan for.
Yes.
So you should ensure that you are reviewing your budget all the time, not just being rigid. That no, even if people ask you for a 50 budget, that no, we need your contribution. No, it's not under my budget. Oh, no, 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 no. There's contingents. You expect such things. What are you contributing? Because we've seen a situation even in the communities that we live in, where the community comes together to make some contribution, they need to do some drainages instead of just waiting for the government. Because when you're waiting for the government, you wait for 5 years before they they implement something. But as a community, you can actually proactively come up with some initiatives. When your members of the community ask for contributions like a 50 kwacha, I mean, be willing. Don't just say that it's not under my budget. They must be contingents. You must have a sense of community, that you belong to a community. You can't do it alone. Because I'm talking from experience. I don't speak from a place of textbooks.
Yeah.
I speak about the things that I have gone through.
Yeah.
I've mingled with the haves and the have-nots. I know the behaviors of the wealth people. I know the behavior of the poverty-stricken individuals. It's the things that I've gone through.
Okay, so that's Mr. Jones, someone with right on investment money on 93.7, many of them, of course, getting to have conversation about budgeting in, of course, challenging times. So it's all better that we get to be interactive. It's all good that we get to be part of the conversation right on investment at money on 93.7, many of them self that interest each and every day. So as we get to interact, and of course, it to either we meet up with what really comes in and could be strong conversation. When I say strong conversation, they are really strong conversation. Relating in on your personal finances, relating in on your business conversations as well, and national conversations themselves as we be part of the conversation. What we do right now is let's pay our bills, Mr. Silva. We'll be back shortly, so do not touch that down. This is 93.7. Okay, investment at Money on 93.7 Money FM, and of course, we are right here to give you nothing but open class, especially in the business world. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever you're involved in, hey, still be part of the conversation, right, on investment at Money. So at times, we always get to be interactive with Mr. Jones Sambaumbe. He is a financial advisor, and of course, he is the resident consultant for investment at Money on 93.7 Money FM. Budgeting, budgeting, budgeting. So it could be at least an interesting conversation that we have today. Budgeting in, of course, challenging times is the topic that we have on today. But hey, you can follow the proceedings live on Facebook, 93.7 Money FM. Search for that or search for Money FM Zambia. And then if you like the page and be part of the conversation, drop in your message. We'll be more than glad to hear from you as well. Mr. Sambaumbe, contingents, to be the word, much desired to be understood even further, I should say. Let's bring in the business perspective. I know you've worked much on the personal perspective. Let's bring the business perspective as well. In alignment with the 2050 advisors, how should businesses obviously reflect on each other?
Great question, Moses. You know, in challenging times, businesses get affected. We've seen whereby even incomes start to shrink.
Yes.
Revenue start to shrink. So instead of just being reactive to the national budget, you must be proactive. If you are a person running a grocery store, a car wash, or any reputable company, you must know that at some point there is always a best in the economy. Now that's where the aspect of diversification comes into play. What are you doing to your product lines? Are you only selling wear nails? Is there demand for wear nails? Look for avenues. Look for markets where there is demand. Okay? Try to diversify your products. I know it's very challenging, but when you interrogate your income statement, especially on expenses, you find some items that you need to cut back, unnecessary expenditures. Once you cut back that unnecessary expenditure, it will free up your savings, and then you can shift your allocations to activities that are cash flow generating. It's high time you also looked at raising the income streams, because you are struggling, you are limping, and yet you only have one product line.
Yeah.
Now, when you diversify, it means that you are increasing your revenue lines. On this score, diversification plays a very big role when it comes to challenging times. Because, I mean, at some point, the business really goes through rough waters.
Yeah.
And you need to be resilient for you to survive. Otherwise, if you lose resilience, then you're going to lose your business to competition. Okay? It's not a child's play. They said that,
Yeah,
okay?
but
Exactly. Only the strong survive. And trust me, if you just put all the aspects in one place, you analyze, you monitor regularly, you can survive. And just this morning, I was encouraging one of my brothers to say that, when you have a desperate situation, I mean, you should ensure that you put up really proactive measures to weather through the storm.
Yes.
Plan your meals. Okay?
Yeah.
Diet. There is no good diet. There is no bad diet. There is only mind of eating.
Yeah.
Okay? I remember those days when we were growing. When my mom brings impua,
Yeah.
we are boycotting. No. But after I started running my own home, I discovered that, okay, Actually, it just takes mind of eating.
Yes.
It's all about the diet. So you plan the meals because remember you are in a challenging time. It's just temporary.
Yeah.
Okay. You weather the storm at some point.
Yes.
That's now where you need to save money on essential expenses only. Okay. You create a shopping list.
Wow.
Yes, as a business owner, you know that you are ordering the parts from China or Japan. Start talking to the suppliers, negotiate the payment terms. The whole world is limping. They will listen and they understand the economic conditions that you are operating in. Ask for those discounts.
Yeah.
I am not saying that now you start moving from Charleston to which mall is this? The one is McCain. From Charleston to Cosmopolitan Mall, looking for promotions. You are spending so much money on transport, remember. You are going to save zero. So you can window shop online now. It's not about the one. The world is clean.
Yeah.
Window shop online so that when you are just go there, you are going to shop with purpose.
Yeah.
That's what I call smart spending habits.
Yeah.
Buy non-perishable items in bulk.
Yeah.
Okay, they're non-perishable. Stock so that when inflation comes, you are well secure. You don't need to panic because you are well prepared. And then compare prices from one store to another. Take time. Okay.
Yes.
When you have, I know you don't have time to compare prices because I know that my pocket is heavy. You don't have time to look that. But in a time like this one, please make it a habit to compare prices. But I don't mean that you compromise on quality.
Yeah.
Just find time. Life must go on, and also avoid meat consumption. Yes, according to research, you know how meat does to our bodies. Yeah, it's when you keep a healthy body, it's less expensive because you stop frequenting your doctors.
Yeah.
Okay, perspective. Even if you've got problems, Moses, me, I've tried this. It works. I'll just take a straw, with my arms in the pocket and start thinking about how we can survive, looking at nature. It is a game changer for me, and I really enjoy that frequently. So you can do it, and you also need to ensure that you cut impulse buying.
Yes.
Okay, you're on social media, you're a business owner. You know that you don't need something, but just because it looks nice, ask yourself, what I want to buy. Is it a need or a want? Do I need to buy it? For what purpose? Okay? Don't use emotions when it comes to spending. If you know that you are emotional, relax. Wait for 24 hours until your emotions settle. And then make, especially when it comes to making big purchases,
Yes.
you don't rush. Just need to wait because when you make a purchase out of emotions, you are getting an emotional product. And you know what that does. In the long term, it really disturb your income flow and subsequently your budget. And you also need to practice an art of gratitude. Okay?
Yeah.
Be grateful for the positions that you already have because that will also reduce the desire for more. Be thankful that I have enough at the moment. Remember, we are living in challenging times. It is just temporal. So once you just put those measures into play, you actually realize that you're now turning on the path of financial success. There are plans at home. It's not frugality, akaso. No, not being greedy. If you're not using your pressing irons, you turn on your pressing irons. And now, Moses, I'm going deeper because this is deep financial, personal finance.
Yes.
You are ironing all of a sudden someone calls.
Mhm.
You're on phone for 30 minutes. Meanwhile, the iron is running.
Yes.
Okay, you've forgotten to switch off the appliances because it's not in use. And then at the end of the day, how come the units are flying? Where are the units going? You've forgotten that some appliances, even if you're not using them, they are in use.
Yeah.
They are consuming your energy. They are directly affecting your income and ultimately your budget. So there's some of the things that you need really to consider. Because at the end of the day, you need money to survive. You need it.
Well, you need it, so do you. It is what it is, and of course, this is investment of money. In conversation with Mr. Jones the Sambawule, he is a financial advisor, of course, resident consultant on investment at Money for 93.7 Money FM. So, how are you going to budget in challenging times? Is definitely the topic that we have on today, right on investment at Money on 93.7. Now, I know there is a lot onto obviously what we have, Mr. Sambombe, in Adam, as you obviously give us other areas that we need to pay attention. Let's factor in inflation. It's just one of those things that definitely comes in. So, with what you have, and of course what we are ready to be part of, how do we look at inflation as we budget?
Yes. That animal called inflation, really, it's a financial fundamental that is always there. It's been existing and it will always be there. Now, that also brings us to the aspect of adjusting your budget when it comes when you face unexpected costs like inflation. Now, what happens? You have a budget in front of you, and then all of a sudden there are unexpected costs. You really need to determine the agents
Yes.
of that cost, the nature of the cost. I know there is an inflation aspect of it.
Yes.
Ask yourself, is it a medical bill? Okay? Or is it entertainment? Is it urgent? But I mean, sometimes as individuals, you need to be selfish, Moses.
Yes.
Selfish. Before you take care of your family, I always say this, take care of yourself first so that you've got energy to take care of your family. Because if you crash, who's going to take care of your family? No one. Okay? Now, by saying no to somebody that I can't help, it means saying yes to you. Let me repeat this. By saying no to somebody, it means saying yes to you.
Yes.
Simply say, I'm sorry, I can't help. This kind of judgment. Oh, what are they going to think about me since I can't help? No, you can't help. Straightforward. But where you can help, please help. It's very, very important to help. Not really helping for sure, but no helping for prestige. So that I show them that I have got money. Now, after helping somebody, then you start paying sales categories that you have. Housing, you play with numbers. If I reduce on the utilities here, if I reduce on this expense, entertainment, if I reduce on dining out,
yes,
I should just start now eating from home. Where am I going to take this allocation? Let me take it to the debt repayment so that I pay that high interest debt as soon as possible. You are playing with numbers. There is shifting taking place, reallocating the resources now because there is inflation at play. Don't just sit that no, inflation has come. What can I do? No. As you reduce expenses, what are you doing about your income? Are you depending on that job alone? So that one day, if you are fired, because that job is not permanent.
yes,
Okay, they will tell you that, yeah, it's a permanent job. Is it contract or permanent? Then you even say that, oh, it's a permanent job. You even feel more secure and more comfortable. All businesses, they succeed on paper, but go to practicality, they fail.
yes,
So that job is not permanent. One day you're going to leave it through various ways.
yeah,
Do some part-time jobs to increase your income streams. Do freelancing. Okay, there are all sorts of things you can do in a gig economy. Like that, you won't become a district and start disturbing people, begging money every day. Okay, it is very, very, very important that you adjust when it's time to adjust. Adjust and readjust all the time.
Wow.
Otherwise, I mean, there are some things that you can even postpone. You An expense comes, it's not in line with your financial goals. You don't have. I mean, where we require additional funding, like a vacation. This is something within your control, Moses. You say, no, do I need to visit Bahamas, Mauritius this season? Look at my budget, my income. I think something has come up. There is too much inflation here. No, 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 no. Let me postpone the vacation. You lose nothing. You should feel comfortable saying no. The moment you feel comfortable, not liked by people, that's the beginning of maturity.
Wow. You get it right now. It is what it is. That's just some, of course, tip that you get out of the conversation, especially when we talk about Mr. Jones Sambaumbe. He is a financial advisor, resident consultant for investment and money on 93.7 Money FM. So if you're just joining in, welcome on board. Let's work on together. Remember to check out the Money FM Facebook page. Don't like the page and be part in conversation. And of course, drop in your message of the more than glad to hear from you. As well, you can do the same right on, of course, 93.7 Money FM, and we get to at least be together. So, investment and money it is. If you're just joining in, welcome on board. Time not the best friend, but I know you still have at least something for us, Mr. Johnson. But before we obviously close the conversation, what else should we obviously consider, and what is worthwhile as we budget during challenging times?
Wow, time really flies, Moses. Financial literacy is very, very important. We tend to overlook it. Yes, we have financial inclusion of above 65% in Zambia, but only 23% adults are financially literate. Meaning that
That's not even touching 50%.
no, 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 not touching. We've got a lot of work to do. We don't understand money. We don't know money.
Yes.
Yes, money is just a course on its own. Some
Yeah.
people even go for go to start money from YouTube or Google Invest for 5 years, just studying money, how to understand money.
Yeah.
Once you understand money, then you really understand your life and you can apply your skills. But now, after budgeting, now how should you stay motivated? Because how can you motivate yourself when you have a budget there because of the rising cost, of living?
Yes.
Yeah, you just simply write down your goals in front of your pillow, Moses, on chat boards or vision boards. Every time when you wake up, you look at the numbers that you want to achieve, that you really stick in your head. It will give you some level of motivation that you've got a financial goal that you're working on. If something comes up, what you need to do is just remember about your financial goals so that you're not derailed from the path of achieving that financial goal. Then you should also automate your savings. It's very important. Don't touch cash in these critical times, yes. Because I mean, we are human beings at some point. The money that you have in the pocket is already used. Put it on the account, on the bank account, even on Airtel Money. Mobile networks are doing so well. They even offer investment services. And then as you are budgeting, have fun. You're a human being. Yes, enjoy it, have fun, celebrate the small milestones that you make. It's very important. That will give you the momentum to budget for the following month. And remember that budgeting is not just about numbers, it's about taking control of your financial future. Yeah, in Zambia, the cost of living is going up by the day, and you may face challenges. There are so many factors at play, the external factors, the external shocks. But I think there are some things that we can really control as human beings. We don't have control over the Russia and Ukraine war. No, not at all. We don't have control over the rising international fuel prices. Not at all. But we have got control on our expenses. We know that those things really affect us, yes, in one way or the other. But let us just focus on what we want to achieve, because budgeting is a compass to navigate through those rough waters. It's not just a one size fits all. Budgeting is dynamic. You can play with it, tweak it in one way or the other. It's a process that requires adaptability, discipline, and a lot of determination. So, as you budget, you must always remember that you are a powerful human being. You are not a drop in the ocean, but you are the ocean in the entire drop.
Wow,
Thank you.
interesting. Mr. Johnson Mahombe, thank you so much for always being part of the conversation.
Thank you very much, Moses. I'm always grateful. And thank you very much, listeners. Please enjoy Money FM if you want more money in your life.
Well, enjoy Money FM if you want more money in your life and be part of investment fund if you want to have a great journey investments themselves. Mr. Jones and I always back on radio, especially when we talk about investment and money. Today's conversation budgeting around, of course, challenging times. So we're getting ready to be part of the conversation themselves, right? With 93.7 Money FM. This has been investment and money. People up to the end on touch that.